What's a delta you'd be looking for on that covered call? So let's talk about the Greeks quick. If you're not too sure about what the Greeks are, I did a bunch of videos. You can go check those out. I can answer like some basic things. So like I said, anytime, guys, I'm speaking about something that you don't understand, A, I definitely did a video about it. And B, don't get frustrated, right? We come into this world not knowing anything. So everything that we hear the first time we didn't know. And you can get frustrated and say like, this guy's always talking options. I'm here for the index funds. That's fine. And that's dandy. Or you can say, oh, wow, Brad's a pretty conservative investor and he's still dabbling in these options. Maybe they're not as risky as people say. And that's the podcast episode that comes out on Monday. JJ and I talking about how options can be conservative. They can be not as risky. And when we start talking about things like the Greeks, it's not to make things more complicated, it's to make things more simple. The more things we understand about the call, right? And the more things we understand about the put and options in general, the more things that we have in our control. I think I made the title of that Greeks video like the options cheat code. I might have changed it out once I got through the clickbait phase, but you know, it's just a cheat code. Okay, so let's talk about right now the delta for my covered calls. When I'm wheeling, okay, when I'm selling cash or puts, when I'm selling covered calls, delta really doesn't mean that much to me now. The only thing that matters to me is my cost basis. If I am well above my cost basis, let's take, for example, Vuzi. I think my cost basis or my cost per 100 shares is like $1, literally. Well, right now, even after the stock tanked, I can write calls right at the money at $14 and still kill. So I don't look at delta. I look at my basis. And I think from there, because when you get comfortable with the wheel, you love assignment. You don't fear it. You don't worry about it. If you're worried about assignment, you pick the wrong strike price or the wrong stock. With that said, if you are learning and you're still figuring out this whole feeling of assignment and that rush of assignment day coming, because as we learn more and more, we know we're never going to get to assignment any because we're going to close. But when I first did that, I looked at delta, and we look at delta in terms of the buyer. They come in a fractional amount. So it's going to be a decimal, like 0.83, 0.2, 0.17, okay? Everything less than 1. Delta can't go higher than 1. So we think about the delta as the percentage. Now, this is a rule of thumb. This is not like set in stone. We think about delta as the approximate value for the percentage that the buyer of the option is going to win. So for example, if I look at a covered call and it has a 0.2 delta, right? We convert that 0.2 to 20%. That means the buyer had a 20% chance of this option finishing in the money and him winning or her, okay? So if they got a 20% chance, we got an 80% chance. So if you're just starting and you don't want to even worry about assignment, you just want to press the button, make your first option, collect your first premium. It's like getting your first real dividend. It's an incredible feeling. It really, really is. Then go with the low delta, 0.15, 0.2. Give yourself a good shot. Now, the premium is going to be less, but we don't give a shit about the premium. Who cares about the premium, right? So I don't care in the wheel. I just care about the basis. Now, when it comes to the covered call in the poor man's covered call, where I'm protecting a leaps option, right? When we're wheeling, I don't need to protect my 100 shares. I own them already. But in the poor man's covered call, I have that long call, right? That leaps option that I do not want to get assigned, and I do not want to exercise. And if my short covered call does, I lose that leap. So I'm going to protect that leaps. So in that case, I'm looking, I think when I first started the poor man's covered call, I was doing like a delta of like 0.2 to 0.3, maybe even 0.4, like giving myself a 60% chance. To be honest, I am not doing poor man's covered call deltas greater than 0.2, just because I've gotten myself in where I'm buying to close and trying to just recover and keep my head out of water. And that happens when I get to that 0.3, 0.4 kind of delta for the poor man's covered. So to recap, in the wheel, it's all basis. I don't really give a crap about delta, to be honest. I'm making my strike price above my cost basis. It's as simple as that. And, you know, the further up the stock goes, the closer I'm going to get to the money, because you know, I could collect those premiums, and upon assignment, I'm still making a huge capital gain on that cost basis. Poor man's covered call. Currently, right now, I'm trying to stay below 0.2. Thank you so much, Dave, for the question.